After a 10-year journey, Europe's Rosetta spacecraft has reached its destination, a comet somewhere between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. The goal of the mission is to track the comet at a distance of about 100 kilometers and observe it as it hurtles towards the sun. Scientists hope that the information they collect will help them learn more about the origins of comets, stars, and planets. For more on Rosetta's Comet Rendezvous, Ryan Faith joins us. He is the Defense and National Security Editor at Vice News. Thanks so much for coming in, Ryan.
My pleasure.
I heard one expert today saying that comets are basically pristine warehouses of the early solar system, so we can learn a great deal by studying them. How big a deal is this? Why don't you frame it for us that way?
Well, this is going to be a mission that's doing something that's never been done before, and it's getting in close to a comet to sort of observe, as you noted, how it's going to behave as it approaches the sun. The comet's made basically of snow. It's pretty, not very dense, but it is material that was sort of burned away when the solar system was forming early. So basically what we have left in the inner solar system is rocks and places like Earth, and the stuff that the comet's made out of comes from far out in the solar system, and it wasn't really sort of melted or dispersed over the last 4 billion years.
It is a 10-year journey from start to finish. It's taken a while to get there. I guess the anticipation's probably been growing in the scientific community for some time. How historic is this? I mean, as you frame it, in terms of exploration in space.
Well, this current round of comet exploration with all the probes in all the various nations have been going on since 1986 with the comet Halley, and this is really the last comet mission that anybody has slated or anybody has planned, because they don't really know what to study next until they get this back. So this is kind of the conclusion or the ultimate chapter now of 30 years of exploration of comets.
Some scientists are calling this comet a time capsule of sorts. Mm-hmm. Why?
The material the comet's made out of is probably several billion years old, maybe 3 or 4 billion years old, and it's material that might contain basic molecules for life that may have started life on Earth, and sort of leftovers or sort of construction debris from when the solar system was being formed.
How long is this observation going to last?
It's going to last at least a year. The comet will be closest to the sun in, I think, August 13th, 2015, and I think they're planning a few months of observations after that, but it's going to be, basically a year and change.
And so, it's interesting because we've seen, the Mars rovers, we've seen a lot of this exploration. It seems like, and you were saying, they've got to gather the information and kind of go over it before they decide what's next. How long does it take to kind of cull that information, actually read through it and see what the results are?
I expect that this particular mission will be generating papers and data for years and years to come, because this is, something that we've at best kind of sort of seen off at a distance, and now we're going to there's going to be a lander that's going to land on it. They're going to drill into the surface of the comet a little bit. Huge amounts of instrumentation, so there's going to be a huge amount of data that comes out of this.
Talk to me about that, because that doesn't sound like an easy task at all, to put a lander on one of these things. It's hurtling around. How difficult is that task?
Well, the comet itself doesn't really have much gravity, so the landers, they're going to kind of sort of gently nudge it towards the comet, and then it actually has harpoons to attach itself to the surface so it doesn't fly off or sort of drift off from that. Some unnamed sources have characterized it as almost a mission impossible kind of level of difficulty. But if they can do it, then it will allow them to sort of do almost what amounts to as a CAT scan of the comet between the orbiter and the lander to sort of see what the interior structure is, to make educated guesses about the interior composition, how it formed, and a whole host of stuff.
You brought up Halleys Comet a moment ago, and of course that's a comet that's created a great deal of fascination. There's a great story about Mark Twain. He said he was going to come in with a comet, go out with the comet, and he did. What is it about comets that fascinates us so much, would you say?
Well, I mean, when you have a comet that actually gets close enough to Earth where you can see it in the night sky, it really stands out. I mean, it doesn't look like anything else, and it's throughout history, as you know, there's been a lot of sort of forecasting and fortune telling based on comets. It's been they're just visible and fascinating.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to continue. Ryan Faith, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Certainly appreciate it.